Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. I think, like all of us, I've been very concerned about what's going on in Ukraine with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And a realtor that I know is a Ukrainian Canadian and has recently come back from Ukraine. She actually came back before the invasion, but she has friends and family in Kharkiv, which is, as I think we all know now, because we've been getting a geography lesson in Ukraine, and that's not funny, it's just reality. Kharkiv is in the northeast portion of Ukraine, very close to the Russian border, and has been under attack, but of late, the Ukrainians have been able to it would appear, force the Russians back from approaching Kharkiv. Her name is Anna Kravchenko? Kravchenko, I apologize. Anna Kravchenko. She's a realtor here in Toronto, and as I mentioned, she's a Ukrainian Canadian. Tell me, Kharkiv is like 20 miles from the Ukrainian border. Maybe it's 20 kilometers. I can't remember now. And I understand that the majority of Kharkiv was Russian speaking, and yet it's been devastated by this Russian invasion. You say your grandmother's there? What do people think? Like, how are they responding to this invasion from their neighbor 20 kilometers away?
I have to say it's absolutely devastating. It was devastating news for a lot of all the people that live there. My family, friends just couldn't believe what was going on. And when my grandma woke up at 4 in the morning because she heard an explosion, she didn't want to believe that it was a bomb. And she ran to look outside the window, and she was horrified because she said, "Oh my God, it started." And I had to move some of my family members to here because I was here by myself. So now I have my grandma, my mom, and my brother that moved from Kharkiv.
Oh, really? They were all in Kharkiv, and they've now come to Canada.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We couldn't believe the news, and my mom was picking up anything she saw in her condo. She was telling me that the bombs were exploding. The plane was flying over the condo building she lived in, and everything was shaking from chandeliers, windows. She didn't know she was going to be alive, so she grabbed passport, money, pajama pants, and she ran.
Ran where?
Just a town outside of Kharkiv. So this is where they stayed for very little bit. Nobody expected it for this to be this long, because everybody were saying that, in 2 weeks' time it's going to end. Yep. Because the special operation, they're going to they call it special operation, but it's a war. They're gonna change the the president and everything is going to come back to normal. But of course, it didn't happen as planned.
So how did they get out of Ukraine? Did they go back to Kharkiv? Did they stay in this town? Did they go to Poland? How did they get out?
So what happened was they escaped the city. It was just 15 kilometers away from the city, and they stayed there for a little bit. And then they made a plan to escape Ukraine. And they went to Western Ukraine. They had a few...
By what? Car, train?
By car. And they had a few stops. Obviously, it was very challenging because the country was running out of fuel. And
there were thousands, millions of refugees as well.
Yes, and the lines to cross the border were absolutely ridiculous. So, it was very challenging for my mom to drive, my grandma and my brother. My dad unfortunately had to stay because men are not allowed to leave. So they made it to Western Ukraine, stayed there for a little bit, and then moved to Poland. That was their next stop, and from there they safely came to Canada.
So what, flew from Warsaw or something?
Yes, they
Excellent.
flew from Warsaw.
And have you spoken to your dad? Is he okay?
He is okay. Yes, he is a doctor there in Ukraine, and he doesn't want to leave his position. I tried to talk to him about escaping the city and, maybe going to a safer place, but he's quite a bit stubborn about that. He is fine, though. We talk.
Is he a general practitioner or working in a hospital or what?
He's one of the head of hospitals. So
thank God he's staying, frankly, because that's certainly a badly needed occupation.
Yes, yes. So we definitely miss him, and really hope that there's going to be a chance to see him soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your brother's not of an age that he had to stay and fight?
He's right here. Yes. He's 12.
So, and what was it, 16 or 18 or something like that, that you weren't allowed out of the country?
I believe it's 18.
18, right, okay,
Yes.
well that's good. And do you have friends still in Kharkiv?
Yes, we have a lot of friends in Kharkiv, and a lot of them are fighting. A lot of them are fighting for Ukraine, and...
Tell me what they're saying about, this current situation. Like, it's amazing, number one, that we've got this World War III almost in the 21st century, and it's happening, and we're seeing it on our news channels every day. And you're probably seeing it on your Facebook and your Messenger and however you're communicating with your family and friends. And then number two, that the biggest or second biggest army in the world has not been successful, and it's fantastic that the Ukrainian forces have held them back. What do people say about why and how this is happening?
Well, Russia always wanted to capture parts of Ukraine, and they thought that it can be easily done, but our people are pretty feisty, and they will stand for what they believe in. They will stand for their country, and everybody in Ukraine, they don't want to be associated with Russia. We're our own country, our own nation.
So you're from a Russian-speaking town. Did you speak Russian?
Yes.
Did you speak Russian all the time, or most of the time? Like, were you fluent in Ukrainian as well?
I was speaking Russian all the time. I'm fluent in Ukrainian as well, but Russian is very common in Kharkiv.
So, Putin propaganda probably, I think for sure, said that the Russian-speaking people were prejudiced against and therefore they had to be liberated. Is there any truth to the fact that Russian-speaking people were prejudiced in Kharkiv or in eastern Ukraine?
No.
Or anywhere in Ukraine?
No, it's not true. It's propaganda, and in fact, my mom and my brother would traveled to Western Ukraine just before the war started. In the Western Ukraine, all people speak Ukrainian, and we were speaking Russian just because it's very common in our family. Nobody was acting weird that we're speaking Russian. None of the citizens there were against us, so it's totally made up.
Do people understand the different languages reasonably well?
Yes.
I spent some time, I think I mentioned this to you before, I spent about 6 months in Kiev in Ukraine over the course of about a year and a half back about a decade ago. And I found that people switched back and forth constantly. We would go out for dinner and someone was speaking Ukrainian, and then they would switch to Russian, and then they would switch to English. Sometimes it was as if the vast majority of business people in Kiev at least spoke at least 2 languages, if not more, and that if there was someone at the table that spoke one language or a waiter that came and spoke in a different language, they would just naturally shift. And it was just completely natural.
Yes, it is very natural.
So, how did this rumor, this propaganda, this belief exist? And there were separatist forces in the Donbass region that were supportive of Russia. Is it just an excuse for power?
Of course, it is just an excuse for power, an excuse to invade a country, because they don't really have anything else to, for the majority of people around the world, they don't have any other reason that they can come up with to justify what they're doing. And it's absolutely, it's not true that we were pressured, that there's Nazis, which is really funny to hear all the...
Not oppressed, not prejudiced,
no.
not precluded from jobs?
No, nothing like that.
So, you know, one of the other things that is just shocking to me is that he thinks that he can actually come into this country, destroy towns, kill people, and that in the future, if he's successful, you'll actually become his countryman. Like, how can your brother, how can your mother actually be a country person with Russia after what he's done? How's that possible to even contemplate?
Mm-hmm. This is very interesting comment, because everything that he's doing, he's basically destroying everything. And,
he's destroying everything. It's incredible.
He's just wiping the cities from earth, you know, and I'm not sure what his big ideas are, but definitely the impact of everything that has been done to Ukraine, it will be, you know, for centuries to come, you know, because right now it's very difficult to build a relationship with a Russian-speaking person from Russia if they are supporting the regime.
Well, and one of the issues, I think, is that a lot of Ukrainians have blood relatives across the border. Anyway, we're going to take a break for some messages and come back in just 2 minutes with Anna. Remind me how I pronounce your last name?
Kravchenko.
Kravchenko. Anna Kravchenko. We're going to be back in 2 minutes talking a little bit more about what's going on in Ukraine. Stay with us, everybody.
My dad was an auto worker. Mom cleaned schools at night. I learned about hard work from them. They taught me when something's broken, we roll up our sleeves and fix it.
It's why I fought for workers, for families, ever since.
I'll work to fix healthcare instead of cutting it, fix seniors' care instead of neglecting it, and bring down the costs families face every day.
I'm Andrea Horvath. I'm running for Premier to work for you.
Sunrise Homes presents the biggest musical event of 2022. Finally, the wait is over and she is here. Medley Queen, Neha Kakkar. Along with top Indian Idol contestants. 2nd July Saturday at Paramount Fine Food Center, Mississauga. Hurry up, get your tickets now. Call 416-464-8649 or log on to ticketmaster.ca. Sponsored by Sunray Group, Neha Sethi. Co-sponsored by Fido, Value Mobile and Chata Mobile.
Hi, my name's Imran Mia. I'm a proud first-generation Canadian looking to inspire positive change as the next member of Provincial Parliament for Mississauga, Erin Mills. I am a dedicated father, devoted husband, and a strong community advocate. With over 20 years of business and leadership experience, I understand the challenges and the opportunities facing our community. As your MPP, I'll focus on creating more affordable housing, improving our publicly funded healthcare and education systems, empowering our seniors to live independently, and fighting the effects of climate change. I am ready to listen to your concerns and fight on your behalf for a better, greener, and more affordable future for all Ontarians.
Hello friends and neighbors, this is Khalid Rashid, your Ontario PC candidate for Mississauga East Cooksville. I'm running for re-election under the leadership of Doug Ford to continue to build Ontario's economy, to continue working for workers, to build highways and key infrastructure, to continue to keep costs down, and continue to plan to stay open. Together, we will continue to create a more prosperous future for Ontarians and the hardworking people of Mississauga East Cooksville. I hope I can continue to count on your support.
Hi, I'm Samira Ali. I'm running to be your MPP in Milton. Our voices are going unheard. We need to stand up for our schools, our teachers, our communities, our seniors, our frontline workers, our small businesses, our families, and our children. Stand up with me. Stand up for Milton.
Consumer Choice Award recipients and GTA's top-ranked service provider, Dixie Electronics, authorized dealer of all major companies. Shop with a peace of mind, and low prices are always guaranteed.
I promise best customer service and lowest prices in GTA because we beat prices from all major stores and small stores. At Dixie Electronics, our motto is we sell quality and deliver confidence.
Dixie Electronics and Appliances, 5120 Dixie Road, Unit 11, Mississauga. Phone number 905-625-5900.
टीम फरहान मॉर्गेज सॉल्यूशंस आपकी खिदमत में पेश 15 साल तजर्बे के हामिल, आपकी जरूरियात और मर्जी के एन मुताबिक कारोबारी, रिहायशी, तामीराती और ज़रूरी मॉर्गेज सर्विसेज। हमारा कम तरीन मॉर्गेज रेट। Team Farhan.
At Team Farhan, we're here for all your mortgage needs.
Müşterilerimize iyi ve kaliteli hizmet vermeye özen gösteriyoruz.
ونوفر كل التسهيلات القروض المالية لكل أنواع القروض.
Here at Team Farhan, we have mortgage solutions designed for you.
Team Farhan को एक दफा खिदमत का जरूर मौका दीजिएगा. And this is my personal promise to you, you will not be disappointed.
At Team Farhan, we have a mortgage solution designed for you. मज़ीद मालूमात के लिए 416-569-9294 या फिर विजिट कीजिए हमारी वेबसाइट www.teamfarhan.com.
After one deal, you will also save my realtor, Asif Hashmi.
Such great service and a beautiful home, my realtor, Asif Hashmi.
For all your real estate needs, call me at 647-923-7374 or visit my website myrealtorhashmi.ca.
KK Travels believe in providing everyone with first-class customer service. We take care of not only your air ticket, but dignity and respect as well. We are available on WhatsApp anytime for you, even while you are in Pakistan or any other destination. We provide the lowest price guaranteed and are open to price match any airline.
We are KK Travels under supervision of Gas Khan at 905-367-9433 or visit www.gaskhontravels.com.
More shopping?
Yes, on my home.
Welcome to Pan Am Blinds Limited. My name is Bobby, and I would like to introduce our very newest product. It is only with us with Panem blinds in improved. It's combination of and silver shades, so Venus shades, or Shangri-La shades. So it's a very unique and new product in different color. It's an energy saver. You can save your 85% energy, and also it has child safety features over here. If you see here, if it goes down, it will open itself and you will see through from this, but ultraviolet rays controlled. No UV light will come in and you can see out, and people, they can see very slightly. Please come to our store and see how many beautiful colors we do have and enjoy your comfort of life.
Managing your own business can be a lot of work. A professional accountant always makes a difference. It's imperative that your accountant keeps your finances simple, accurate, and confidential. Audited? Need help? That's why we chose Scans Accountants. They make you feel at ease knowing you and your business are in good hands. Scans Accountants, team of professionals.
Good evening and welcome back to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're chatting tonight with Anna Kravchenko, who is a realtor here in the Greater Toronto Area. But tonight we're talking about her roots. She's a Ukrainian Canadian, and she just came back from Ukraine prior to the war, and she's brought her family from Kharkiv in northeastern Ukraine to come live with her here in Toronto. And she's in touch with some of her family and friends back in Kharkiv, and we've been chatting a little bit about that. And so, Anna, thank you again for being so open with us, because it's really, I think that it's, you think and read the stories or watch the movies about World War II, and it took, months for us to get news, and people didn't have that personal connection. I've been interviewing people on Zoom, in Kharkiv, in Kyiv, in Lvov. It's just been incredible. We get, minute by minute news of exactly what's happening. Now, you told me that your grandmother actually has relatives in Russia, which is, and the statistic actually is interesting. 1 in 4 Canadians has a blood relative in the United States. I understand that statistic is almost the exact same in Ukraine. 1 in 4 Ukrainians have a blood relative in Ukraine. So 25% of the population have a cousin in Russia. But they're not getting the same news, are they?
No, they're not getting the same news.
So what's happened to your grandmother's relationship with her cousin?
So what happened is, I'm sure everybody have heard that Russia is very heavy on propaganda, and people actually do believe the news that Putin is saving us from Nazis, that we have a bunch of Nazis that are hurting Russian-speaking population, that are, acting ridiculous. And what happened was their relationship came to an end. They simply, my grandma's family, they couldn't believe that everything that they were told on TV was actually not true, and they had a lot of fights about it. And on what? Like, are the phone lines open? Or are they Facebook messaging each other? How do they communicate? They were just communicating via text, and the last text that they've sent to each other was that, we're not relatives anymore.
We're not relatives anymore.
Yes. And some of the it was very harsh conversations, because it's very close cousins, very close very close relatives that they were keeping in touch all the time, and they basically said that you're a Nazi as well, and we hope that you're gonna die. Yeah.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. But I guess to sort of justify your existence in Russia, if you're staying there, that's sort of, you wish people would rise up against Putin and against the propaganda, but if they're not getting other information, who knows how you do that? And you're at the risk of your life if you do it too, I guess.
Yes, there's definitely a risk of life if you do that. I do have Russian friends that are here in Canada, and that they do not support anything that's happening. You know, they don't support the war, but they're saying that if you say something, if you mention something against the politicians that are in control right now, you can be sentenced, you can be put in jail, you can be...
I've asked a few of my Russian-speaking friends to come on my show, and they've declined, and they've said, you know, they're against what's going on, but they're worried about their family in Russia if they say anything.
Yes, that's true. Because people can disappear in Russia from expressing their opinion.
Do you have friends in some of the other cities that are currently under attack, either in Kyiv and what happened there, or in Mariupol, or the other towns?
We do have some friends in Kiev, and we do have friends that moved from one city to another to just, you know, escape.
Tell me what some of their stories are, if you could.
Sure. I would like to tell you a story about my cousin, actually. He ran from the town that is just close to Kharkiv, but it's completely occupied by Russian forces. And what happened was they don't have connection to their mom and dad that stayed there, but they ran to Western Ukraine to seek peace. And you know, it's not exactly peaceful, but it's definitely a little bit more peaceful than in Kharkiv.
Yep.
They're looking for jobs, and you know, there's not a lot of jobs available, unfortunately, right now. They're trying to, you know, build a new life because there is absolutely nothing that they can come back for.
You know, like the war is terrible, and the refugees is terrible, and the movement of people that aren't refugees but are still like refugees internally in Ukraine and having to go is terrible. But then also, you know, it's devastating the economy. And people have lost their jobs, lost their careers, lost their way to make money. Like, how are people surviving? How are they getting groceries? How are they living? How are they getting heat and electricity?
Oh, absolutely. It's devastating, you know, because a person needs to build a life from, you know, the ground up. And it's the community that helps a lot in all the cities. You know, we have very strong communities. We help each other. And I know that my cousin, he didn't have any money to start, you know, when he moved. He was staying with people from the street that literally offered him, you know, hey, come stay with us. I know you have nowhere to go. Yep. And provided him with food and, you know, everything that they needed for the first time. And then, you know, we were sending money and, you know, to kind of help him out a little bit. It's very difficult to watch because...
it's got to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
So tell me, if you could, what you think the Canadian government, what NATO should be doing?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think that it's a very interesting question because, you know, we're all hoping that NATO could help us, right? Could help Ukraine and could help so we can win this war. But it's also very dangerous for them because the Russia can just act in a way that they're going to impose the nuclear power, and that is a danger to the whole world, and I think that's the major reason why they haven't done anything.
So do you think Ukrainians, like, it sounds like you understand that, do you think Ukrainians understand that challenge, that they want to help and they have been helping, but they can't help more and they can't get directly involved because they have this risk of nuclear proliferation? Or nuclear attack? What do you think of that?
They definitely understand that. And for every Ukrainian, it's very difficult. They do understand that, but it's very difficult to watch your kids
die.
Your kids die, your relatives die, you know, you send a husband, a cousin, a brother.
Finland and Sweden have announced that they're going to seek NATO membership. Let's say they continue this and or they achieve it. If Russia attacks Finland, what should NATO do?
I think that NATO is probably realizing the whole Russia scenario, what they want to do.
Well, it started in Georgia, didn't it?
Yes.
A decade and a half ago.
Yes, they did, and they definitely don't want any new countries joining the NATO because it's a threat for them. But I don't see NATO helping in the nearest future.
What have Ukrainian Canadians been doing?
Ukrainian Canadians have been amazing.
We're the second largest diaspora of Ukrainians outside of Ukraine, Russia, and then Canada.
Yes. The community has been amazing.
More Ukrainians in Canada than in the United States.
The community has been very helpful in terms of, gathering money for to send out to buy necessary supplies for the army. A lot of just clothing donations, all kinds of donations, from like the first needs to sending absolutely everything everybody could. I was a part of helping to gather all the stuff that has been donated, and I was very surprised, and I was actually surprised that not only Ukrainians that were in Canada, like in Greater Toronto area, that were helping, but a lot of other people, just Canadians in general. Also Russian people have been helping too, that don't support everything that's going on, and I am just amazed actually at all the efforts that
You've
were
got
put.
hundreds, maybe thousands of Canadians listening to you right now. What's your message to us?
I just want to thank everybody that spreads the word about what is really happening in Ukraine, the war that is genuinely helping people. I know that a lot of donations have been made, and it's actually incredible. A lot of people are accepting refugees to live with them, just general people that don't have much to offer, and this is very very astonishing. It's very nice to see, because it's
What's your message? Keep it up.
My message is that I believe that the truth is gonna win this war.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your and your family's story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. One of the reasons why I wanted Anna to come in and share her story is that I do think it's really important for us to get a first-hand view of what it's like. And Anna brought her young brother, 12 years old, to the studio tonight to be here. And seeing this young guy that's got to come from Kharkiv across Poland, across Ukraine to Poland, and then come here and now in school, and I understand doing quite well in school. It's got to be, something that we just never believed would happen again after World War II, I think, and it's unbelievable. The devastation in eastern Ukraine, the attacks in Kiev, the families that have been torn apart, whether they're Ukrainian families or Ukrainian Russian families, and grandmothers that no longer are family with their cousins. It is just amazing, and so I do think that getting this first-hand view is really helpful for us to understand how this impacts you and your family, and your father still working in a hospital in Kharkiv. It's astounding. So I do think that we have a role to play, and that role is to support. We probably shouldn't be getting involved militarily, NATO, right in the Ukraine directly, because of this nuclear threat that Anna spoke about. But I think we should be doing everything we can from supporting the refugees, the humanitarian crisis, and yes, a lot of military aid, because it's the tanks, it's the ammunition, it's the drones, it's the fighter pilots and the fighters, not the fighter pilots, but the fighters that the Ukrainians need. And so let's support them. That's my show for tonight. Thanks for joining me. That's the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good night.